Something is shifting around you right now, and you can feel it, even if you cannot name it, even if you would struggle to explain it to someone who asked. There is a quality in the air around your life lately, a sense that something is building, something is gathering. Like the moment before weather changes, when everything goes still and the light shifts, and some part of you that is older than your thinking mind simply knows that something is about to move. You're not imagining it. That feeling is real. That sense of something coming is not wishful thinking or restlessness, or your mind trying to distract you from a life that is not changing fast enough. It is information. It is your own deeper awareness picking up on something that has not fully arrived yet, but is close enough now that you can sense it on the edge of your perception. What I want to do today is help you understand what that feeling actually is, what it is pointing toward, and how to position yourself so that when the thing it is announcing finally arrives, you are ready to receive it completely. Because something genuinely special is about to happen to you. Let me describe something, and tell me if it matches what you have been experiencing lately. There has been a strange quality of calm in you that does not quite make sense given everything that is technically still uncertain in your life. Things have not all worked out yet. The questions have not all been answered. The path is not entirely clear. And yet there is this odd steadiness underneath it all, a grounded quality that is almost confusing, because by every logical measure you should probably feel more anxious than you do. That calm is not denial. That calm is not you avoiding your problems or pretending things are fine when they are not. That calm is the sound of something settling inside you, a shift in your relationship with uncertainty itself. You used to need to know how things were going to turn out in order to feel okay. And somewhere recently, maybe so gradually you did not notice it happening, that need started to loosen its grip. You started to be able to hold not knowing without it tipping into fear. That is not a small thing. That is one of the most significant internal shifts a person can go through. Because the capacity to be at peace without certainty is the exact capacity that everything good in your life has been waiting for you to develop. You have been developing it in the quiet. In the ordinary days that felt like nothing was happening. Those days were not nothing. They were you becoming someone who can hold the good thing when it comes without gripping it so tightly out of fear that you damage it before it can take root. There is something I keep returning to about the season you have just been through. A lot of what you have been doing lately has looked completely unremarkable from the outside. Ordinary things, mundane things, small repetitive tasks of an ordinary life that do not feel like they are leading anywhere in particular. And there has maybe been a part of you wondering why. Why am I spending this season on such small things? Why does my life feel so quiet when I can feel something bigger building? Here is what was actually happening. You were being held in the ordinary on purpose. Not because the ordinary is where you are staying, but because the ordinary is where you needed to be in order to finish a process that could not be finished in the middle of chaos and constant stimulation. There are certain kinds of integration that can only happen in stillness. Certain kinds of clearing that can only complete themselves when nothing dramatic is demanding your attention. The quietness of this recent season was not a delay. It was the conditions required for a final clearing to take place. When something is being cleaned at the deepest level, it has to be still. You cannot deep clean something that is in constant motion. And you have been still lately, maybe more still than you wanted to be. But that stillness was the setup. It was something holding you in place long enough to finish removing everything that could not come with you into what is next. If this message is speaking to something real in your spirit, there is a link in the description to support this project. Give only if you feel peace in doing so. Every contribution helps these words continue reaching the people who need them most. I want to talk about what you have been letting go of, because I do not think you have fully registered how much you have actually released over this past stretch of time. There is an old version of you that does not exist anymore. Ways you used to think that you no longer think. Fears you used to carry that have quietly lost their grip without you noticing the exact moment they fell away. Things that used to bother you enormously that you now look at and feel almost nothing about. And that is not because you have become numb or detached. It is because you have outgrown them. You have evolved past the version of yourself for whom those things were a problem. And here is what is strange and significant about that. You probably did not let those things go through some dramatic act of will. You did not sit down one day and decide to release your old fears and your old patterns. They just started falling away on their own, like leaves at the end of a season, like something that had served its purpose and was now naturally completing its time. That kind of effortless release is the signature of real transformation. The transformation you have to force is usually superficial. The transformation that just occurs because you have genuinely grown beyond something, that is the deep kind. The kind that does not reverse itself. You have been going through the deep kind, and the version of you present in this moment is not the same version that existed even a few months ago. Something fundamental has shifted. The world has not caught up to it yet, but it is about to. Let me say something about timing, because I think timing is sitting right at the center of everything you are feeling right now. You have probably been sensing that there is a right moment for something, that you are waiting for some kind of signal, a green light you cannot force the next thing to happen without, no matter how much you might want to. That sense of waiting for the right moment is not procrastination, and it is not passivity. It is intuition. It is you tuning into a kind of timing that is more intelligent than your conscious planning mind. Most of us spend our lives trying to override timing. We decide we want something, and then we try to make it happen on our schedule through force of will and pushing. And sometimes that works for smaller things. But the genuinely significant things in life have their own timing. They arrive when the conditions are right, when you are ready, when what is coming is ready, when the alignment between you and the thing has reached the point where they can finally meet. No amount of pushing can speed that up. It can only happen when it is time. And something in you knows it is almost time. That is what the building feeling is. That is what the gathering energy is. It is the sense that the alignment is nearly complete, that the conditions are nearly right, that the moment you have been unconsciously preparing for is approaching. And when it arrives, you will not have to force anything. It will simply happen, suddenly, in the way the most important things almost always do. Not through grinding effort, but through sudden alignment after a long period of preparation that looked from the outside like nothing was happening. I want to address the part of you that has trouble believing good things can actually last. Because some people carry a specific kind of wound around goodness, where in the past, things were only good temporarily before something happened to take it away. Where you learn somewhere along the way that getting your hopes up is dangerous. That feeling too good is a setup for disappointment. That the moment you let yourself fully enjoy something is the moment it gets pulled away. And so you develop this protective habit of holding back from your own joy. Keeping one foot out the door, even in good moments. Not letting yourself fully land in the good, because some part of you has always braced for it to end. If that is you, I want to say something directly to that part of you. What you learned was a reasonable response to what you experienced. It made sense given what happened, but it is not the truth about what is available to you now. The fact that goodness did not last before is not evidence that goodness cannot last. It is evidence that you went through circumstances where it did not, and you are not in those circumstances anymore. You are not that version of yourself anymore. What is coming is not going to require you to brace against it. It is going to ask you to do something that might actually be harder than bracing. It is going to ask you to fully receive it, to let it land completely, to allow yourself to feel as good as it is actually going to feel without immediately looking for the catch or waiting for the other shoe to drop. That is a practice. Receiving fully after a long season of protecting yourself is a skill you build. But it is the most important skill for this next season, because what is coming deserves to be met with your whole presence. Something is happening with your presence lately, with the way you affect the space around you. People are responding to you differently. They open up more easily. Strangers tell you things they would not normally tell someone they just met. There are more eyes on you, more attention coming your way, more of a pull around you than there used to be. This is not random. This is a direct result of the internal work you have been doing. When a person becomes more genuinely themselves, when they shed the layers of who they were pretending to be and settle into who they actually are, they become magnetic. Not through any technique or strategy, but through the simple power of authenticity. There is something deeply attractive about a person who is at home in themselves, who is not performing, who is not seeking approval, who is simply being who they are without apology, and without the constant low-grade anxiety of trying to be acceptable to everyone around them. You are becoming that person, and the magnetism that comes with it is starting to operate in your life, pulling toward you the things, the people, the opportunities that genuinely match who you have become. Because you have changed, the quality of what is showing up is rising to match. You attract in accordance with who you are, and who you are is leveled up. If these words are landing somewhere real in you, the link in the pinned comment is there to support this work and help it keep reaching people in their most important seasons. I want to talk about the dismantling that might be happening around you. For some people, this season comes with a certain amount of falling away, friendships that no longer fit, environments that no longer resonate, situations that used to feel normal and now feel increasingly out of alignment with who you have become. If that is happening for you, understand what it actually is. It is not loss in the way it might feel like loss. It is realignment. When you change at the level you have been changing, the things in your life that were calibrated to the old version of you start to feel wrong. Not because anyone did anything bad, but because the resonance is gone. And so they start to loosen, to fall away, to feel increasingly like they belong to a life you're no longer living. Trust the dismantling. What feels like things falling apart is actually things falling into place. The clearing of what no longer fits is what makes room for what does. And the space that opens up when the old falls away is not going to stay empty. It is going to be filled with connections that actually stimulate you, environments that actually nourish you, situations that actually align with the direction you are moving. The dismantling is not the universe taking things from you. It is the universe making room. Here is what I want you to hold on to as you move through the next stretch of time. Something is coming, and it is going to arrive in a way that catches you slightly off guard. Not because you have not sensed it coming, but because the actual experience of it is going to exceed what you could have anticipated. It is going to be one of those moments you look back on later as a dividing line, a before and after, a point where everything started rearranging from there. And when it arrives, the most important thing you can do is not rush it, not grab at it, not try to control it or force it into the shape you imagined. Just let it unfold at the pace it wants to unfold. Stay grounded. Stay present. Move slowly enough to actually experience it as it happens rather than racing ahead in your mind to what it might become. Because this is a moment your future self is going to remember. This stretch of time you are in right now, where the thing has not fully arrived but you can feel it gathering, this is the moment before the moment. And there is something sacred about the moment before. The anticipation, the quiet knowing, the sense of standing at the threshold of something significant with the door not quite open yet, but close. Do not rush through it. Let yourself be here for it. Because the version of you that exists on the other side of what is coming is going to look back at right now with a kind of tenderness, at the version of you that kept going, that kept believing, that stayed steady through the quiet without knowing if any of it was leading anywhere. It was leading somewhere. It was leading here, to the edge of something genuinely special that has your name on it, and has been making its way toward you for longer than you have been able to see. So stay open, stay grounded, keep doing the small, ordinary things that have been holding you steady. And get ready, because what is coming is real. It is close. And it is going to be worth every single moment of the waiting that brought you to it. The part of you that already knows that is the part of you worth trusting right now.